Hey, this is Evan Stone, and you're watching rockwest.tv.
All right, Rockwest.tv here with drummer extraordinaire Evan Stone. What's up, Evan?
How
How's
are you?
everything going?
Good to see you, Ralph.
Good to see you. So glad to have you here. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start. Just tell us what's happening in the world of Evan Stone, your bands, your projects.
Oh boy. Well, the latest thing is the Translucent Ham Sandwich Band. That record is finally coming out in the next couple of months. We're in production right now. I just got the test pressing from Rainbow Records, which was exciting because I'm putting it out on vinyl, you know. So I've been there for the entire process of this record, from its inception and concept to the recording of it and the producing of it and mixing of it and engineering and editing and all this stuff, and I got to, you know, I like to be a part of that, you know, the entire process, and I've had some really great people, not only recording on the record, but David Holman mixed the album for me, and spent 2 weeks every day with him in the studio, you know, watching everything he does, and then he said, well, where are you going to get this mastered? And I said, well, I want to do this for, you know, I want to make vinyl, you know, and so we had to cut down all this material down to 45 minutes to fit, you know, like 22 minutes aside. Excuse me. And so I said, well, I haven't really thought about, you know, that process yet. I mean, I know I got to get it mastered. And he's like, well, why don't you try Bernie Grundman? And Bernie Grundman is one of the best, you know, mastering engineers around. And I thought, I don't know if I can make that happen. So he helped me make that happen. So I was really excited to get it mastered by Bernie Grundman. So anyway, so I'm like, well, I've got this, and I need to listen to it somehow. And a friend of mine, Jason Fetty, who's a singer-songwriter, he works at a radio station in Laguna Beach. So he said, well, why don't you just bring it down to the station tomorrow? And it was literally the day after I got it in the mail. I'm like, okay. So I went down there, and the first time that it's ever had a spin was on the radio, which I thought was kind of a cool thing, you know.
Great.
So that's the latest thing is, you know, it's been a long time, you know, getting this record ready for consumption.
Right. Great. It's funny, I was recently on the Translucent Ham Sandwich Band Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
And I got a kick out of like how many people are involved or were involved
In the history of the band?
In the history of the band.
Yeah, there's over 100 musicians that have played in the band.
I mean, do they contact you, or do you approach certain people?
No, I mean, in the beginning, and by the way, I just made a new website for the band.
Cool.
I bought translucenthamsandwichband.com.
All right.
I thought, that's just too much to type in. No one's going to want to type in Translucent Ham Sandwich Band. So then I bought followtheham.com. I thought that'll be easier, you know. And I had that for a while, and I had a website, and then that just kind of went away. I didn't really like it, and it just seemed too like there's too much flash stuff going on, and you know, you couldn't see it on your phone. I'm like, what's going on here? So I let that go. And then I figured, you know what, I might as well buy translucenthamsandwichband.com, just because if I don't, maybe somebody else will buy it.
Right? For some reason, it wasn't taken.
Thankfully, it wasn't taken. You know, I had to check with a few sources, like the Library of Congress or whatever, you know. Is this band name taken? I mean, if you're going to put a label on it, call it avant-garde music, because avant-garde means new thing anyway. So if it's the new thing, then it's the new thing. And it's new anyway because we're making it in the moment. It's not predetermined. It's not premeditated. It's all live and in the moment.
So there's no rehearsal at all?
There's never a rehearsal.
Okay. That's what I thought.
And the album is interesting just because it's not a live album. And I toyed with the idea of making a live album of this group. But I wanted to, I think I wanted to produce it a little bit more and kind of give the listener an idea of what they might find in any given show, the best moment of any given show. And I love the fact that you can bring any, you know, you can call somebody and say, hey, do you want to do the gig, you know, tomorrow night or whatever it is, and they don't know anything about it, you know, and you say, well, it's just going to show up and play, you know, and they're like, so you don't have any music to send me? No, I have no music to send you. We're just going to show up and play. and they get excited about that idea because it's freedom. You know, they're free to play whatever they want.
Cool. All right, so let's go to the beginning. What's your earliest memory of music making impact?
My earliest memory
of music just making an impact on you.
And after dinner, I'd go down into the basement and play records, you know, my parents' records. They had Chicago's Greatest Hits, ELO, Stevie Wonder, Beatles, John Denver, Guilty Pleasure. I wore that one out. You know, my dad used to buy dowels from the hardware store and cut them up for me, and I used to go around the house and, you know, bang on things without really maybe even understanding what a drummer was, or maybe I did, because I remember my first concert was Buddy Rich when I was about 5 years old. Wow. My parents took me, he came into our town, well, the town next to us, Sayville, on Long Island, and I just remember being on my dad's shoulders, and he's saying, "This is Buddy Rich, you know, he's one of the greatest drummers in the world," and I remember being, I remember getting something from it and remembering that, you know, and being like, Buddy Rich. And then a few years later, we were driving we were in Florida, and we were in the car, and all of a sudden I said, Dad, look. And it was Buddy Rich's tour bus. It was driving next to us. I thought that was cool, you know.
Very cool, yeah.
Maybe it was some kind of a sign or something, you know.
When did you start playing drums? What age?
It was around 12 years old. Okay. So when you're in like second, third grade, they want to see if you're interested in, you know, joining the school band or chorus, and so I did. I joined the chorus and the school band at the same time, and they give you that sheet of paper that says, you know, what instrument do you want to play? And I checked off the drums, and because there was a pretty girl that was playing the drums in the back, but during that time, my friends from, you know, across the street and next door, they got guitars for Christmas or something, and so I thought, well, I was the youngest one on the block, and I thought, oh, I want a guitar too. You guys got guitars, I want a guitar, you know. And like, no, you got to be the drummer. We have too many guitars. So my first choice has always been shut down, you know. And so we decided. I said, all right, that's cool. And we set up cardboard boxes and had my dowels, and we started banging. We were playing like Devo and dee. And then I remember, you know, like taking the tape recorder and hitting record and listening back to our rehearsals, and I was singing and playing drums at the same time back then. So I was 12 and writing lyrics for original songs, you know, you know, really basic, silly things, but I was very much into poetry and writing even back then. Wow. You know, I was always getting my butt kicked, you know, musically by older musicians, and I kept that theme going when I moved out here to California. I got myself associated with well-established and, you know, older players that were better than me, because I just wanted to get my ass kicked. I wanted to learn, you know, and what better way than to get your ass kicked on a daily basis. So, you know, that was my theory.
We know your first concert.
Yeah.
What were some of the others, and what was the last concert you went to?
Tom Petty, two nights ago.
Cool.
Guilty Pleasure.
Honda Center?
Honda Center, yeah.
Nice.
Great show. Steve Ferroni, great drummer. I mean, and Steve Winwood opened the show.
Really?
And I'm not a huge Steve Winwood fan, but they sounded awesome. They were great. The band sounded tight. It was a good night of music. And Tom Petty has just hit after hit after hit after hit. It's like I think I maybe didn't recognize one song or one or two songs, and that might have been from his new album.
Wow.
I mean, that's how crazy it is, you know. He's just been a machine, just pumping out these songs that everybody knows. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Great. Does a favorite concert come to mind?
A favorite concert? Wow. Well, I do have memorable concerts, like when I saw Miles Davis at the Coach House.
Oh, man.
That was an amazing show.
Some at the Coach House in San Juan?
Yeah.
What year?
This was probably maybe a year or so before he passed away. This was like 91, 92, 93, somewhere around there.
Wow.
I think. I was a kid, you know, and and we were right there. We were right at the front of the stage.
That's incredible.
So Miles is just standing there, and we're just like, oh my God, this guy's got so much energy and influence, and over his band, and just the music that they were making was, incredible. Dimeola was one of my first shows that I saw at the Coach House. I was probably 16 years old, and I had never seen music like that, or heard. I mean, never saw music that close to me, with the drummers. His drums are right here, and the guitar player standing right here, and the music that was coming out of them was just like, what is this? I've never heard anything like this before. That was the concert that kind of affected me the most, I think, in terms of wanting to make that switch over to playing jazz music, and then seeing Branford and Winton,
Nice.
maybe during that time, and Jeff Tain Watts was playing drums, and I thought, I want to play drums like that guy. He blew me away.
But speaking of concerts, how about your shows? Like, are there any that stand out for you?
Of my own personal shows.
Yeah.
With the Translucent Ham Sandwich Band, or just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, there are some. Well, I think maybe the very first Translucent Ham Sandwich show.
Steamers?
No, this was at the Mint.
Okay.
And it was the first time that all the elements came together, and I had no idea what to expect, because we'd never done it before. So I remember being backstage before the show and having people, start coming into the back room, and I'm watching jugglers warm up, and magicians with their card tricks, and belly dancers showing up in their costumes, and I had just set up the projector to get the movie to play that this guy had just made for me, to project and to perform to, and so I thought, man, I have no idea what's about to happen. This is new for everyone in the room, and as we started playing, I'm looking to my left, and I see a magician. I look to my right, and I see a juggler. I see belly dancers, and I see girls on roller skates handing out these finger sandwiches that I made. I just thought, this is crazy, and people seem to like it,
All right, and then let's wrap up with what's next, Rev and Stone. I know you're doing some producing.
Yeah, I'm getting into producing more. I've this last year I produced an album for Nancy Sanchez called Ruby in LA, with co-produced that with David J. Carpenter, a bass player friend of mine who we played in a couple of groups together with Speak and Gregory Page and the Trouble Sleepers and some other projects, and he and I are talking about establishing a co-production venture, but as a solo producer, I've also produced an album this year from a jazz singer, Danny Fryer, and so that's out now, and it's been getting some good radio play and some good reviews, and I think he hit number 21 on the CMJ chart.
Excellent.
Yeah, so that was pretty exciting for me, just to know that something that I did and worked on in my home was getting some attention and some radio play, and I enjoy finding artists that want to develop a sound for themselves, and maybe they haven't figured that out yet, and I like the process of I like the recording process. I like that creative space in the studio.
Evan, thank you so much for spending
Thank
time
you.
with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
Rockwest TV here. We're signing out with Evan Stone, and keep an eye out for the Translucent Ham Sandwich Band.
Cheers. Eat your watermelon.
Thanks again, Evan.